Do you know the difference between raise and rise? I know a lot of people don't know the difference and they often confuse the two. So I'm going to tell you today how you know the difference. Raise will always have an object following that verb raise. For example, I raise my hand. The hand is the object. Therefore, it's a form of raise. Or let's raise some money so that we can support our charity. Raise money. Money is an object. You will always have an object following raise. On the other hand, the verb rise does not have an object following it. For example, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Rises in the east. In the east is a prepositional phrase, but it's not an object. For example, smoke rises into the air from my campfire. There's no object following rise. And there's your basic difference between the two. Raise your hand, if you can remember that, whatever follows raise has to have an object like raise your hand. Rise doesn't have an object, and it's called an intransitive verb, and the action just stays with the rise. For example, smoke rises into the air from my campfire. Or the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. So that's the first difference. The second thing to remember are the different verb forms of each one. Let's start with raise, where you have an object following it. Today I raise my hand. Yesterday I raised my hand. I am raising my hand, and I have raised my hand. Those are the verb forms for raise. Rise, on the other hand, with no object following it, is as follows. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. That's present tense. Past tense, the sun rose in the east and set in the west. The sun is rising in the east and setting in the west. And the sun has risen in the east and has set in the west. So it's raise, raised, is raising and has raised. It's rise, rose, is rising and has risen. And that's your difference.